Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Lojak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is the Lojak and the Bag show for Thursday morning, December 20th. Should be a good show today because we have a big NHL card. Of course, Jimmy the Bag and I are both way up in NHL. We have some college basketball. Jim's coming off another winning day in college basketball, I believe. And Jimmy's uncle is going to be making a guest appearance on the show later on today. You might be thinking, yeah, who cares? Jimmy's uncle? Great. Who cares? Well, 1967 Heisman Trophy winner. How about that? 1967 Heisman Trophy winner. How about that? Yeah, that changes things a little bit. Jimmy the Bag, glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Coming off a bad day in NHL and NBA, thankfully, college basketball took care of business. But I'm excited. My house is filling up. My brother came in with a huge 2 bags of jerseys that I've left at his house. So I have about 50 or 60 jerseys here now. He also brought 2 huge boxes of sports cards that I need to find a place. I guess there's no value with them anymore. But yes, my uncle is here as well, Gary Beban. So he will be on the show today. The original great one. That was his nickname until Wayne Gretzky usurped it from him. Usurped that nickname. 67 Heisman winner the year before OJ won it. So it's exciting that he will be on the show to break down the college football playoff with us at the end. And look at this great group of cappers in the house with us. Anna Merrick, Flipper 13, Ninja 13, Jeremy Miller, Robbie Tagaloa, Brandon Lugo, Rem Most, Yo, Red Girl in the house, Ron Lofton, Sacktown King, Barry Cohen. What a good group. I also see Bob Berube, Cash Action Bets, Colf Colio, Maxwell Smart, Mr. Gokster. What a crew. King Rail. Let's get to business.
Yeah. All right. So we got a lot to cover here. Let me see. I'm just looking at early comments, see if anyone has any. Yeah, everyone's talking about the college football game tonight, the Marshall game. I did not handicap that game in depth at all, so I'm probably not going to have a bet on it, but everyone's talking about the bad weather involved in that game. People are saying that there will definitely be an under, which, is generally a factor that you want to be aware of and bet into, but it's definitely not a lock, and you want to be very careful if you're using weather as the main factor for betting an under. Just tread a little bit lightly there. Make sure you have other factors that are supporting it as well, because it can be a little bit of an illusory factor at times. Let's see. What else do we have here? Anything? Let's see. Comments coming in. The big Duke Texas Tech game, of course, is going tonight, and Barry Cohen likes Duke -9. Geghard A likes Duke or Barry Cohen likes Duke -10. Geghard A likes Duke -9, and of course, Texas Tech is undefeated. Haven't really played anyone yet, though, and they're stepping way up in class. I was thinking the same way that this might be a game where Duke rolls and Texas Tech gets a reminder of who they really are. Let's see. What else do we have here coming in? Jimmy the Bag, anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of people liking Duke here. Natasha Harden liking Duke first half and full game. Looking forward to break that down. Flipper 13 excited about Gary Beban. Remember, if he likes being on the show, we can have him a lot more. So let's be very good to him. Colby Valentine says, isn't Beban also in the College Football Hall of Fame? Yes, he is. I believe it was in 88 he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, so it's exciting to have him here. And Gokster noticing the Trevor Linden jersey behind me. I also got an old Jays jersey. I wish I had more room because, man, I got some dope wares that I haven't seen in a long time that are still looking good. No mothballs, no holes. I'm coming off a bad night in both NHL and NBA, and I'm looking forward to get to work, Pete.
All right. Julian Cesario says, good morning, Jimmy Beat. Had a bad day yesterday, but thanks to the best sports show, we'll be back today. A lot of people say that this is the best sports betting show on YouTube, all that stuff. So I would just like to give a huge shout out and congratulations to Jimmy the Bag and myself for all the hard work that we do. Because, making a show that makes people make comments like that doesn't happen automatically. It takes a lot of hard fucking work. Remember that. Hard fucking work. All right, Jimmy the Bag, let's do some hard work right now. NHL handicap. We've got a huge card here. Let's take a gander at the fruits of some of this hard work that we've done. Let's throw the NHL record up so everyone can see what we've done. Why are you making that noise, Jim? Because you had a bad night yesterday?
Coming on. I just don't understand. I said in the beginning of the show that the under was the play in that Capitals Penguins game, and then ended up taking both home teams on the -1.5. I can understand why I did it, but I said 2 things. I said that in the Capitals Penguins series, that it's probably best just to take the underdog in every game because they're so tightly matched. Then I said that I would go towards the under, and then the only move I made was a loser. So I'm a little disappointed with that. Also in NBA, I got burnt again going on a money line with the Pacers instead of taking them on the spread. That's a few times it's burning me, and I'm second overthinking things in NBA. But I'm looking forward to get to work. So
Jim, you're up like 6 or 7% ROI NHL. That's friggin' phenomenal. All right, let's take a look at today's card. Tell you what I was thinking about here, Jimmy the Bag. Tell you what I was thinking about. It's a massive card, so I'll just highlight the games that I was thinking about. I was thinking, is Chicago still a dumpster fire? Because if they are, I'm thinking that Dallas on the -1 line is another one of these big favorites that is still worth betting into, at least either on the puck line or the -1 line. The Anaheim-Boston game is interesting. Boston's about to get Bergeron back and Chara, and I was thinking that the under might be worth a shot here, and maybe the first period under as well. Looking over the card, I was thinking New Jersey can't really buy a win, and Columbus has been doing great recently, but they've been an under trender recently. I was thinking that maybe this is a spot where New Jersey, as a big underdog, might have a little bit of value. Philadelphia going against Nashville. I was thinking about the under in this one. Of course, Pekka Rinne has been great, and Philadelphia has all kinds of problems defensively, but their last game went under. I was thinking that maybe they'll try to shore that one up. So that's a play I was thinking about. And what else? That's pretty much it. And I was also thinking that Vancouver, Markstrom has been great, right? Is Markstrom going to continue to be great, or are we buying high on him right now? But it's a low line for Vancouver at home, and I was thinking about taking Vancouver. So that's what I was thinking about just for now. Thinking about Vancouver on the money line. Definitely thinking about Dallas -1. Thinking about the Boston game under against Anaheim and first period under, and thinking about maybe a shot with New Jersey, maybe a shot with Nashville, Philadelphia under. Jimmy the Bag, let's start with you. What plays you definitely want to lock in here in the NHL card?
Well, I love where you're at. My man JP in the house, Abba Zabba joining us, Matt Randall, Cammy Gopher. I love where your head's at. Why don't we start with Bruins -1.5, the first play I'm going to make. Listen, this Ducks team was playing way over their head for that giant road winning streak that's come to a halt, and I think this is the right time to fade them right now. Now, I'm not entirely sure who is going to be in goal, whether it's going to be Halak again after that shutout or if Rask is going to be in that. I'm not sure if you have more information on that, but Ducks gave up 3 third-period goals, lost to the Rangers. It was just a matter of time. They were outshot 14-1 in the third period. That, to me, sounds like a tired hockey team on the road. What's going on?
I have Halak confirmed here. Halak confirmed here. I can answer that question. Halak confirmed.
Beautiful. I like that. I like that a lot. I see this as a tired Ducks hockey team. And why wouldn't they be tired? This is no fault on them. It's just been a long road trip. That loss kept them from winning their 7th straight road game. And so they allow 14 shots in the third period to the Rangers. Rangers only put up 10 shots in the first 2 periods. They've won their last 4 visits to TD Garden. I couldn't believe these numbers. They've won 9 straight overall against the Bruins. They've outscored the Bruins 37-17. Yellow Jesus says Ducks own the Bruins. That makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Put a line through that. They're not rivals. They don't care about each other. It's just happenstance is the only reason why that's happening. It's just a weird coincidence. It makes no sense. These are not rivals. Ducks had outscored their opposition 18-4 in the previous 10 third periods before Tuesday. Again, this is just a tired hockey team. And the Bruins showed a ton of heart. And why did they show heart? Again, it was another players' meeting where the coaches were involved. Cassidy called the meeting before that big win in Montreal. He said he didn't call out any individual, simply a matter of this is what we need to do in order to win. The message was to start with a better checking game, play with purpose, be accountable, everything that we think about in life as well. Bruins are going to get healthier soon. Bergeron and Chara and Miller have all been reinstated for practice, but they're not. And Bergeron was a full go in Wednesday's practice, so they're very close. DeBrusk back at 9 and still dealing with concussions. This to me is screaming Bruins. I'm going to take Bruins -1.5. And Darryl Lyles, everybody coming up with these stats showing how good the Ducks have been to the Bruins. It makes no sense to me. I don't think we should give it too much consideration.
And while I check for this, Anaheim, as we talked about, I faded Anaheim in their last game. That was my only play on that big card against the Rangers. I had the Rangers -1. Gate Pasquis, I believe, tailed that one, and that one was a casher. They only scored 1 goal there. Before there, of course, Anaheim was rolling, but you thought that their offensive prowess for about 8 or 10 games before the Rangers game was a little bit illusory. And while I check for the best line for you, Jimmy the Bag, why don't you discuss for 10 seconds what you might think about the under here in this Boston game that I was leaning towards myself?
I like the under, but if we are talking about a tired Ducks team that may be battling injuries, maybe wants to get back to California, all that stuff, I think that shows up more defensively. So I'm a little pensive about making a move on the total. We are talking about a Bruins power play that's fifth in the league at 25.5%. We are talking about a Ducks power play that's bad, but so is the Bruins penalty killing, especially without Bergeron. It's dropped to 22nd in the league at 77.8%. Yeah, this Ducks team is 29th in goals per game. Bruins are 27th in goals per game. I could understand that. But Daryl Lyle saying the total's gone over in 4 of the Bruins' last 5 games at home. Yes, I said the Ducks offense is illusory, but I wouldn't have enough confidence to take the under here, and I'm sure it's juiced to the under at 5.5. Is that right? I'm just guessing. I haven't looked.
Actually, it was 5.5 at plus 107 when it opened, and now it's down to 5.5, but still minus 105. And you could buy to 6 very cheaply at Pinnacle. And I'm thinking about the Anaheim team total under as well. What do you think about that? 2.5 at about minus 115 or so.
Yeah, I like it. I like all that. I think that the Bruins are going to be more accountable early for sure. Rem Most says under 5.5 in today's NHL is tough. I'd like to focus on plus lines and plus spots, but I could certainly see that play, Peter.
All right, and just in general right now, you like the Bruins defensively, right?
Well, no. I mean, they have tons of injuries.
Right.
They have tons of injuries. So we're still waiting. I mean, we have McAvoy back. I think he's the most important player on the defensive side for the Bruins. But we're still, when Chara comes back, when Miller comes back, then I'll say yes. I still like the fact that they're an accountable team and that their forwards back check. So I like parts of their defense, but with all these injuries, I don't love their defense.
All right, I'm going to take a shot with the first period under 1.5, and I'm going to take a shot with the Anaheim team total under 2.5. Jimmy the Bag, while I check for these numbers and enter them in, why don't you talk about another game you want to take here?
Sure, I'm going to back the Philadelphia Flyers on the minus 1.5. Again, we'll have to see if Carter Hart is the answer. I remember another 20-year-old goaltender coming up for the Montreal Canadiens named Patrick Roy, and he turned everything around. Now, I'm not entirely sure if we can talk about Hart and Waugh in the same conversation. I mean, we probably shouldn't be. But Carter Hart gives this team hope. Youngest goalie to ever win a game for the Flyers. Philly was 13-15-4 and on a 4-game losing streak, and Scott Gordon comes in and Carter Hart comes in and something changes. Now, they need Nolan Patrick rolling. 1 assist his last 4 games. Gordon knows that. I'm sure Gordon thought that Hackstall was doing a shit job handling Nolan Patrick's 2nd overall pick, the guy we thought was going to be number 1 overall. So Nolan Patrick is now on the first line with Giroux and Konechny, expecting offense there. The Predators are just not very good without these studs in the lineup, without Forsberg and Arvidsson and Subban. Now Colton Sissons has a rolled ankle. So, yeah, the Preds are a team I'd like to fade right now. And Tomor and I have been going back and forth about the Flyers all year. And I think the Flyers have a run in them, and I think the Flyers will still make the playoffs. I'm on the Flyers minus 1.5.
Okay, hold on one second. I want to pull up my my NHL sheet here. You don't think that the Flyers have fundamental problems defensively, not necessarily in goal, but just defensively, that are going to cause them to be a questionable bet pretty much until they get those problems fixed, which they've been trying to fix all season long, but haven't been able to?
When I looked at the roster at the beginning of the year, I didn't think that there was a big hole on their defense. What happens when you have terrible goaltending is you don't have confidence defensively. You don't have confidence making certain stretch passes, taking risks. You're playing nervous. You know that every shot on goal could go in. I blame the goaltending.
All right, so you're going to take Philly on the money line, and that will be, let me find the best.
I'm taking Philly on the puck line.
Oh, on the alternative puck line.
Yeah, Matt Randall says, love that Flyers pick, bro. Cole Coleon believing in the NHL here. Same with my man Joey, stat stackers. Let's get it.
All right, so let me see. So the Flyers here on the alternative puck line is going to be plus 234, but that's a Pinnacle. I'm going to quickly check Bet365, see if I can get you a better line. While I'm doing that, Jimmy the Bag, why don't you tell us about another game you like?
Sure, I'll just go through the games that I want to jump on, and then we can talk, because there's some very exciting games that don't know if I'm going to make a move on. I want to cap them through, and I know we want to get through this NHL card and get onto the sports that our low baggers love the most. The reason why we do hammer NHL so hard is because we're putting money in people's pockets. I'm on the Jackets minus 1.5 here. The Devils just look bad on the road. If we simplify what's going wrong with this Devils team. Well, first off, Kincaid's numbers continue to fall. He's never been a guy who's been able to play 60 games. Hall is not having an MVP type season. He has 0 power play goals as well. They do not have enough scoring depth. Those are just simple reasons. These two teams will play each other twice in a home and home. Jackets coming off a 1-0 home win over the Knights. They did that without Artemi Panarin, who will be back in the lineup tonight. The Jackets want to close out this season-long 6-game homestand with the win, so they'll be 3-2-1. Devils have lost 7 and 8, coming off an ugly 7-2 loss at home. I do think they're better than their numbers indicate, but I'm taking the Jackets -1.5 here.
Okay, I'm checking. It's such a huge card here. It's hard for me to get a handle on the whole thing, all the things I'm thinking about. So you want the Jackets -1.5. We'll give you a +145 on that one. Is that good enough for you?
Definitely, and I didn't remember if you mentioned what I got on the Bruins.
Actually, the Bruins is +171. I also checked Philly at Bet365. It's +265 on the alternative puck line, so we can give you that one.
Oh, wow.
Puts 265.
That's a huge.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
The line has gotten bet down. It's just so scary to bet against Pekka Rinne. I think I have a Pekka Rinne bias in my head. It's just so friggin' hard for me to bet against Pekka Rinne pretty much in any situation. But you're not concerned about that. He can lose a game here and there.
This is just a team that you don't need to have any concern about right now with the Predators. Arvidsson and Forsberg are spectacular young forwards. Big, fast. They can do everything. They're excellent young forwards. And then they set it up with Ryan Johansson, who's also 6'3". And now you have this giant, fast, young line that can, take on any line in the league. And so without those two guys, it's a big loss. They instill no fear in me. If you're worried about Rinne, yeah, defensively they're still a good squad, and they're going to play even probably stronger defensively without their studs in the lineup.
And what about
Subban takes
right?
Risks.
So what about the under?
I just think with Carter Hart, I would rather go with the Flyers -1.5 rather in a beautiful big plus situation rather than counting on him to make big saves, even though I think he's capable of it.
All right, I'm actually going to take this one. Nashville, Philly under. I'm going to take the under 6.5 -116. That's the current line that you can buy to at Pinnacle. I'm going to take the under -116. And you think that Nashville might be a little bit hamstrung here offensively? Is that what I'm hearing from you, Jim?
Oh, absolutely. I don't see how they wouldn't be. They just have no. Their biggest problem is the fact that they don't have that power play specialist, that soft hand playmaker, and it just without Arvidsson and Subban. Arvidsson. It's just that much more clear without Arvidsson and Forsberg. I'd say Forsberg would be their best guy on the power play.
I'm also going to take the Nashville team total under 3.5 -160 at Heritage, 3.5 -160. So I'm taking the full game under 6.5 -116. The Nashville team total under 3.5 -160. I've taken Anaheim Boston first period under 1.5 -106, and the Anaheim team total under 2.5 -109. Jimmy the Bag is on Boston puck line +171. Philly puck line +265. Columbus puck line +145. I didn't even get to debate that game with you, Jimmy the Bag. I was thinking that, New Jersey obviously can't buy a win, but they do have Hall back. And, Columbus, I don't know. You don't think that New Jersey might be able to steal a win here? You just don't like New Jersey right now, even with Hall back.
No, it's that I like Columbus a lot.
Right.
I think they're a better team than their record indicates, and I think they're a very scary team at home. I think that we can make money off backing them. Question, Remo says totally agree with the under 6.5 Nashville-Philly game. Pete, is that what it's at? It's at 6.5?
It's at 6 at plus money. Heritage has 6.5, and I bought the 6.5 -116 at Pinnacle. So,
oh God, I agree with you guys very, very much. I think Rem Most and you are absolutely on the right side.
Yeah.
Grabbing it at 6.5 is very good play, and I'd like to jump on that with you guys.
Last time you did this, Jimmy the Bag, was in the Washington-Houston NBA game last night, which was just a terrible pick by me. But I actually think that you tailing me was a worse decision than me making the pick myself. You sure you want to do this, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, the bullshit you tie on to your mushing, I think, is holding you back as a capper.
Okay.
Pete. How about that?
All right, we're going to give it to you. Nashville, Philly, under 6.5 -116. Let's keep a brisk pace here. I want to talk about the Vancouver game because Vancouver is obviously playing a lot better. Markstrom is playing great. He's not as good as he's looked in his past 5 games, but he's definitely pretty good. Vancouver's playing great. We have a small line with him here. Is Vancouver worth a play?
Yeah, and listen, I've been watching these Canucks games very closely, being back home, being around my family who are big Canuck fans, and I'm not exaggerating that this is the first time in 4 or 5 years, and I have to really figure out exactly when that date is, but in the last 4 or 5 years where the Canucks are playing good hockey. It's not the first time they're playing good hockey, but it's the first time I see them playing good hockey that's sustainable. They can keep doing this. They showed a ton of heart in that game against the Lightning. There was a big hit. Troy Stetcher was knocked out of that game by Danik Martel, like an AHLer. And no, I'm not calling Pete a bullshit capper. I'm just saying that he thinks he's mushing Dan's plays. Pete is a legend in the capping business. I don't believe in the mushing stuff. That's all. Not applicable. Trying to start. Of course, he's not a bullshit capper.
I might be a bullshit capper. I think the jury's still out. I think the jury's still out on whether or not I'm a bullshit capper. I've been doing this professionally for 11 years, and I think it's the question is still not settled. Am I a bullshit capper or not?
No. I just don't believe in that mushing stuff that Pete talks about. I don't believe in that at all. And I know that Pete, how he excels reading the market, will in the end make him a plus gambler in NBA. I know it will in NBA. So I believe in him, and I have no problem tailing him in any situation with full faith in his capping. Yeah, the Canucks are just playing good hockey. That's what they're doing. They're playing good hockey. They showed finally. I don't remember the last time they showed heart when somebody got hurt. I remember when we had to watch Pedersen get smashed into the ice and nobody do anything. Well, that's changed. They're doing something now, and I like it. And I believe in it. And look at this St. Louis Blues team. I mean, Schwartz has 3 goals, 14 games. Shen has 7 goals, 28 games. Tarasenko has 10 goals in 32 games. Yeah, they're coming off a decisive 4-1 road victory. But is this what we expect from them? I think, and I haven't made a play on the Canucks, I don't believe, all year, but this is a chance to do it. I'm taking Canucks -1.5 here, Pete.
Yeah, you want it. Okay, so let me see. The line here for Vancouver will be, let me just find it. We do want to keep a brisk pace here. 230 to 240. We can give you 240. Vancouver puck line 240. My only concern, just for future weeks is, are we buying high on Markstrom here? How good or not so elite is he really, in your opinion?
Markstrom's not a good goalie.
Right.
He's not a good goalie. Nilsson looked terrible in that last game against the Lightning. That 5-2 final score was not the right assessment of how the game went. Pete getting tons of love. Miss J says, Peter Loshak, you are the greatest capper I know. Yes, I agree with that. I back that, Pete Loshak. You are the greatest capper I know.
There you go. And how do I do that? How do I do that? It takes a lot of fucking work, and I need to also be rested to work efficiently as I possibly can. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on there? Rafa's signaling to me.
Okay.
What?
We got to keep rolling.
All right, let's go. Okay, go ahead.
let him slowly write it on the screen. Yeah, I'm on the Canucks -1.5. Sorry, your question about Markstrom. Yeah, Markstrom's not a good goalie, and Nilsson played very bad in that last game against the Lightning. Markstrom is a below average goaltender who's continually let me down. Is he better than Allen? Allen's looked really bad. I would prefer to have Jake Allen than Jacob Markstrom, except Allen gets paid a lot more.
All right, let's move on to Chicago-Dallas. Jim, I'm surprised you didn't jump all over that one. Is Chicago still a dumpster fire, and is Dallas a no-brainer play on the -1 line here?
Absolutely. I'm going to take a -1.5. The Stars are back home. They went 4-0 against Chicago last season. There's still a rivalry there, so it's not a game that they'll look past. Blackhawks coming off a rare win over the Predators, just their second win in 12 games. They're 4-12-2 on the road. They've lost their last 4 road games. The Stars are getting Klingberg back. He missed the past 18 games with a hand injury. We saw the incredible rise of Miro Heiskanen, the 3rd overall pick in that 2017 draft right after Nolan. And they've just done a nice job getting over their injuries to their defense. Now they're getting their stud back, Klingberg. Now, I don't think Klingberg will help right away. I mean, especially on the power play, because it was a hand injury that he was dealing with. So I don't know if his one-timers will be rolling. But yeah, absolutely, Pete. Your morning angles and edges that you liked, I'm backing almost all of them. I'm definitely on the Stars -1.5 here.
Oh, thank you very much, Jimmy the Bag. All right, you're going to take the puck line +135. I'm going to take Dallas -1. The money line is -185 at the Greek and +135 on the puck line. That is a market line. All right, I'd like to make let's keep a brisk pace here. Let's talk about the San Jose game. This is from Gate Pass Key. You ready, Jimmy the Bag? Listen and comment and respond. Gate Pass Key says, Sharks had this game circled on the calendar, starting to play well, want to prove themselves. They're a Stanley Cup contender. Sharks puck line. Game was circled. Is that true, Jimmy the Bag? And are the Sharks a great play here?
I agree with Gate Pass Key. I'm just so hesitant to fade the Jets after a 4-1 disappointing 4-1 loss in LA. But yes, I agree. I think the Sharks have to be the play here. They've won 5 straight, 11-3-2 at home with a plus 19 goal differential, and they haven't played very well. I agree with Gate Pass Key. Christopher Comatini says Sharks -1.5 all day. I mean, I wish it was a bit of a tighter line because I could actually see this game being pretty close with the Jets being able to score late. What is the money line and puck line for the Sharks?
The puck line for the Sharks. Well, the money line it's gotten bet up. It opened in the -120s. Now it's up into the -130. So a 10-cent line move in favor of San Jose, and an expected move down on the puck line. It opened at plus 208 at Pinnacle. A 20-cent move down to plus 188 at Pinnacle on the puck line.
Yeah, I'm hesitant. There's a couple plays I'm hesitant to make. The Jets off a loss. I agree, though. The Sharks want to show something. The Sharks want to prove something. And America says, I think the Jets were looking ahead to this spot, too, quite possibly. I want to do it, but I'm hesitant to pull the trigger, and I feel like this game could easily be a Sharks win in overtime or a shootout. Brandon Lugo says Sharks are a little too pricey now, in my opinion. I just wish the Jets weren't coming off a disappointing 4-1 loss. I don't know if I'm going to pull it. I agree with Gate Paskey, but I'm hesitant to pull the trigger on the I'd have to take him on the -1.5. I wouldn't want a -130 or -135.
All right, let's talk about, I don't know what to make of this game. Maybe we'll just spend a few seconds on it. Detroit against Carolina. Both these teams are not winning, but Detroit, Bernier's in goal, and he is just not doing very well right now. Mrazek also he's unconfirmed, but he's questionable as well. Maybe we like an over here. What do you think? Detroit, Carolina.
Wow, that's interesting. Kobe Valentine saying 77% of the public's on Winnipeg. Wow, thank you for letting me know that. That's unbelievable. I'm shocked that that's the situation. Thank you for letting me know that. That does make me want to take San Jose a little bit more. This is a dangerous spot. The Hurricanes are missing their 2 toughest players in Jordan Staal and Michael Furland, and Mrazek is hot. And we've seen Mrazek get hot before. And I don't like him as a goaltender, but we've seen him get hot. Very streaky guy coming off a 23-save shutout. So that's dangerous. This Flames team's missing this Red Wings team missing 2 very important defensemen in DeKaiser and Green, and they don't have Anthony Mantha. Jimmy Howard has a back pain. That's why he missed the last game. Blashill said the back injury is not serious. This is a game I'm staying way away from. Okay, and you don't like the over either? Oh, no, I certainly don't, because Mrazek has done this in his career, got hot for a few games, couple games, and I'm not going to back him here. Here you go. Lamont Williams says Pete is a legend. Anyone who doesn't agree with that, go fuck yourselves. All right, let's talk about, let's say, so casual how I do it. I have a nice style here, Jimmy the Bag. All right, let's talk about, there's another, and then there's just the other games that are just terrible teams matched up against each other. Montreal and Arizona, awesome teams matched up against each other. Tampa Bay and Calgary. I think I'm going to pass on both of those. Do you have anything to say about either of those? Yeah, I'm going to back the Flames here to make a statement. Yeah? I'm going to back the Flames here to make a statement. Yeah, I think I'm getting a nice line. What do I get on the money line right now with the Flames? Yeah, but you're getting Smith against Vasilevsky, I think. I'll check that in a second. No, Riddick. It looks like Riddick is going to be in goal. There's a lot of talk about Riddick. I know they haven't announced who's going to be in net, but they said that Riddick looked great in that loss to the Stars and that they're going to go right back with him. And I expect them to go right back with him. Okay, it's, you get plus 105, 103, something like that. It's a small dog line. I thought Tampa did not look very good against Vancouver. They were lucky to win that hockey game. Although, I mean, they're a spectacular hockey team. Now they have Ryan Callahan as a late scratch. Danik Martel looked good because he caused a lot of problems. But look, Tampa Bay gave up 40 shots in Winnipeg. They gave up another 38 in Vancouver. The Flames are coming off being shut out by Dallas. Flames have 4 players with 17-plus goals. Monahan, 20. Lindholm, 17. Goodrow, 17. Kachuk, 15. I think the Flames send a message. I'm getting a plus line with them at home. I'm on the Flames here. All right, it's just scary for me to bet against Tampa Bay. You obviously are not as high on Tampa Bay as I am right now. They've been winning, though. Best line we could give you at Bet Online would be plus 104. I'll give it to you, Jim. Here you go. Calgary, money line, plus 104. Riddick obviously has been great. All right, and then, I don't know, Montreal, Arizona. I don't even know what my notes are. It's just Montreal's off 2 losses. Both teams not scoring. I don't know. Maybe an under, except I'm not too enamored of the goaltending here either. But maybe an under. What do you think? This game is just so ugly. I don't want to have anything to do with this game at all. The interesting thing is to see Galchenyuk, that perennial underachiever, and Montreal got blasted for making that move Domi was supposedly not near the value they could have got for Galchenyuk. Well, the move's been great. Get Galchenyuk out of the dressing room. It's been a long time since he scored that 30-goal season, when it was 2015. Sorry, I'm trying to find these notes here. Yeah, I don't want to back either of these teams. That's the only interesting thing. The Habs did get out of their 0-for-25 slump on the power play. Two bad teams. I want nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabe Paskey says, wow, Jimmy Flames and Riddick, first game against Tampa, 6 great shooters. He will have to get lucky to keep the goals under 3 or 4. Listen, you're absolutely right when you're saying, Pete, that Tampa's they're number one team in the league record-wise.
Yeah.
And they deserve all the accolades that come with it. But they're out on the road. They're trying to outscore teams. They've allowed 78 shots in their last 2 games. I really think that I'm getting value here on the plus line with Calgary.
And here we go. Angel Romero hitting us up with more soccer plays. Gave us another soccer winner yesterday, which I did not tail. I should have. Here he goes. Angel Romero. All right, guys, let's make it another win in the AM. Get this day off started right. Take Astra in the Romanian Liga 1 on the money line. 10 a.m. Pacific start. Okay, that's coming up soon. And also Legia Warzawa -1 at 11:30 a.m. Thank you so much, Angel Romero. Let's see some other. Daryl Lyles likes the Arizona Habs game over, which I guess I could understand. Let's look for some other comments here, and then maybe we will move on. Vegas Gun saying, LOL, love it. Shout out to you, Vegas Gun. I love you with all my heart, Vegas Gun. I know this is live TV on the internet forever, and I'm happy. I'm happy that this is being preserved forever. Everyone can see me telling Vegas Gun how much I love him with all my heart. Yes, yes. Anyone who doesn't think I'm a legend, eat me. All right, let's move on to some other. You want to move on to NBA? Do we cover every game here, Jim?
No, there's a couple things we do need to touch on quickly.
Oh, the Pittsburgh
and then
game,
I've decided I will take the Sharks on the puck line. I will back the Sharks here. I've been backing them all year, and I think Gabe Pesky's bang on in this spot. We did double up on that spot with the Sharks in Minnesota with the under, and I should have taken the puck line there, and I didn't. But yeah, we need to talk about a couple of very exciting games. One, Panthers-Leafs. This, to me, is a stay-away game.
Yeah.
Now, you guys know I made the futures plays on the Panthers, Flyers, and Flames, and the Flames have looked great. Panthers, Flyers have not looked good. I think both the Panthers and Flyers have a big run in them. They're a team that I do not want to be fading, but the Leafs at home are a juggernaut. This is a revenge game for them. But Barkov was the best player on the ice in that last game. Is Barkov the best player on the ice? You know, I don't know if he's better than Austin Matthews. He's not. But I really like both of these teams in the way they're playing, and I'm staying off this spot. And then a lot of talk about this Wild Penguins game. You know, Penguins looked excellent last night. Now, Chris Letang played a regulation career high 32 minutes and 22 seconds because Oleksiak got hurt in the first period. This is going to be a tired team. This is a perfect opportunity for the Minnesota Wild. Hornqvist was back in the lineup last night, which I didn't know in the morning show. All that said, I do not like this Minnesota Wild team. They've allowed the first goal in 23 out of 33 games this season. They don't have Matt Dumba, whom I'm absolutely in love with. So this is another stay-away game for me. I think the Penguins are tired, and I just don't want to back the Wild in any situation. And then the final game that we haven't broken down, which we don't really need to at this point, is that big game in Vegas with the Islanders absolutely rolling.
Yes.
I do not want to get in the way of the Islanders. Trotzy saying all the right things, saying guys were blocking shots when they needed to, doing what they needed to make sure the puck didn't get into danger areas. 2 goals against in the last 2 games. We'll have a chance to win every night. They did lose Thomas Hickey to an injury. He's a bottom pair defenseman. The Islanders are playing good hockey. Vegas are back at home. Vegas have played a ton of road games this year, not many home games. But I don't want to get in the way of the Islanders train. I don't think there's a ton of value. I don't think there's going to be value fading the Islanders at all this year. And I made the mistake to do that last week. I'm not going to do that again. So I'm off those games, but I will jump on the Sharks -1.5, Pete.
All right, we are going to go back and read some comments because there's some great comments coming in. Kobe Valentine giving the opinion that Carolina is just too big of a favorite. And as we know, in sports betting, it's all about the lines. You know what I mean? If Carolina was -400 here, yes, of course, it'd be a good fade. They're a pretty big favorite right now. Okay, so you want, what do you want? San Jose puck line, huh?
Yeah, I will jump on this.
Okay, best line we can give you right now. Line shopping here, SBRodds.com, +188. Okay, so San Jose puck line +188. We're going to be done with NHL in a second. People wonder why we spend so much time on NHL on a day like this. Because we've got 15 NHL games, 2 NBA games, 1 college football game, and then a small college basketball card. So we're going to spend a lot of time on NHL. Plus, you know, our records sort of justify spending a lot of time on NHL. Wouldn't you say that, Jimmy the Bag? Understatement of the show right there. Let's review the plays. Again, tail or fade at your own peril. Jimmy the Bag is on Boston puck line. Philadelphia Flyers puck line, Columbus puck line, Nashville Philly under 6.5, Vancouver puck line, Dallas puck line, Calgary money line, and San Jose puck line. I'm on Anaheim Boston first period under, Anaheim team total under, and I'm really thinking about taking the under on that game at 6. Nashville Philly under 6.5, Nashville team total under 3.5, and Dallas -1. Other plays I am thinking about before just the leans. People know that my leans are up like 50 units in NHL this year. The picks that I just haven't had the balls to give. Detroit, it's just. Man, Carolina, they opened at -210. Now it's up into the -230s. You get +200 on Detroit. And Kobe Valentine just saying that, Christopher Comatini likes Carolina, but Kobe says that the line is just too high. Carolina should not be this big of a favorite. I'm just scanning around here for opinions that we might want to shout out here, Jim. If you see anything, any comment that catches your eye, shout it out.
Big comment here from Lady A, which will help for all our capping. Mackenzie Blackwood confirmed to go for the Devils. I think that's a good move for the Devils because they're getting as much as they can out of Kincaid. They've just asked too much from him. He's just not a starting goalie. It'll be exciting to see Blackwood in that, but I do think that gives us even more value on Columbus, and I wish I had already made that bet because I'm sure that line's going to go down.
All right, Mr. Gokster likes Columbus -1. He also likes the over, and I was thinking about that as well. I know that Columbus has been a dead under team recently. I've been on a few of those plays, and Bobrovsky's been playing well, but now with Hall back, I was thinking maybe we switch gears now and look for maybe some overs now from Columbus going forward. Maybe take a shot with the over here, maybe the first period over. What do you think?
That's interesting, Pete. What would the total be at in this game?
Well, it's just 5.5 because of how low scoring Columbus has been recently. Yeah, let me find it exactly for you.
And they're getting Panarin back.
And I'm sorry. Whoa, I'm sorry. Give me the bag. It was 5.5 when I handicapped it last night. Now it's up to 6. Opened at 5.5 -120. Now it's up to 6 -120. So a full half puck line move, half goal line move. Wow. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking over 5.5 might be a good play. I was thinking about the first period over.
Yeah, you were absolutely right. That was a good play. I don't know if there's still the same value. I'm not going to jump on it now. You were right, though, at 5.5. That was the play.
Yeah. You know what? I will take the first period over here. First period over, 1.5 -131. First period over, 1.5 -131. And I might take the over 5.5 anyway. It's still 5.5 -145 at Bet365. Maybe I'll buy up at Pinnacle here. Jimmy the Bag, any other comments while I look around here and think about what I want to do?
Cash Action Bets is on the Red Wings, Ducks, Pens, Flames, Canucks, Coyotes. Interesting. So I'm with them on the Canucks and the Flames. Just the Canucks and the Flames. Wow, against them in a couple of those spots.
All right.
Or just really the Ducks because I'm off the Red Wings game. And Billy Exotic's also on Detroit, -1.
I should have tweeted it out, but I will take the over. New Jersey Columbus full game 5.5 -145 at Bet365. I know how iffy that is, but I'm going to take the first period over New Jersey Columbus and the full game over 5.5 -145. Even though I should have tweeted it out and gotten a better number. Nashville Philly, I'm on the under. Florida Toronto, just scanning down here. Detroit, I have to think Detroit might be able to steal something here, maybe even in the first period, something like that. Jimmy the Bag, any comments coming in that you want to highlight?
Yeah, shout out to Javen Porsalis says Merry Christmas from the Philippines, Pete. Oh man, that would be fun to do a show out there, with our man Javen. Yeah, I like this card. This card. Angel Romero says, Jimmy, can you throw me the best NHL play today? I want one solid for $500. Obviously that scares me, but
Pressure.
if I was to take a quick look at this card, I would say my favorite play on this card would be. Wow. I'm leaning towards saying the Boston Bruins. I think the Columbus I would say the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Dallas Stars, man, the Dallas Stars is a nice spot. I guess what I would do is I would split that 500 into 2 bets and I would take both the Stars and the Jackets.
I'm sorry.
I would do that.
Jim, the reason for that line move in the New Jersey game is because Blackwood is confirmed. Did you have that in your analysis of the game?
No, we were talking about that about 5 minutes ago. Miss J let us know that Blackwood was in, so we discussed it quickly. But in my breakdown, no, we talked about Kincaid.
Yeah. So what's your take on Blackwood in general?
Well, I mean, I've got a lot to learn about Blackwood, so why don't I, if you take over for a second, why don't I bring up his, go to the hockey database and
Yeah.
go over some of his
Okay, we are going to be wrapping up
background.
NHL in a second, but Jimmy the Bag is going to give us his thoughts on Blackwood. I may have been a little bit too hasty here on the full game over and on the first period over. The first period over is fine, but I may have been a little bit too hasty on taking the full game over here in the Columbus game. Yeah, just leans that I'm thinking about. I'm definitely thinking about a lean with Detroit, maybe on the first period, something like that. It just feels like they're obviously a terrible hockey team, but I and I don't like the goalie situation for this game, but it's just such a high line there. Scanning down what we got here. Yeah, Detroit, Bernier. I mean, he's so vulnerable. And Chicago and Dallas. I took Dallas. I like that one, -1. Jim likes Calgary. That makes me nervous, but I certainly trust him. I certainly wouldn't want to take Tampa Bay here either. I'm just staying off that one. Montreal, Arizona. Some people were suggesting that the over might be a good play, except that both these teams are having problems scoring, so that's going to be a pass for me. Vancouver against St. Louis. Definitely leaning Vancouver. Just don't quite have it in me right now to pull the trigger. And then the Islanders against the Knights. I was thinking maybe about a shot with the under there. Let me see what the line would be. Islanders against the Knights. Yeah, 6 -117. Jimmy the Bag, you have any information for us? Blackwood.
Yeah, Blackwood drafted second round, 42nd overall by the Devils in the 2015 draft. He had okay numbers in the OHL with the Barrie Colts. Now drafted because he's 6'4", 224 pounds. That's what the scouts are looking for from a goalie these days. They don't want any more Darren Pangs between the pipes. But he came in and he looked below average in the AHL, but he was young. And then this year, with Binghamton, he's played very well. 2.69 goals against, average 911 save percentage. Those are good numbers for the A. And so I can understand why he's getting this opportunity. So this will be his first start in the NHL. He has played 20 minutes and allowed 2 goals in those 20 minutes, but this is his first start. I could understand people liking that Blackwood's in that. I don't think, to be honest with you, Blackwood getting his first start, a tired Kincaid who's not looking very good. I think it might be a wash, but I'm very comfortable with the Blue Jackets regardless of who's between the pipes for the Devils.
And why is that? Why do you like the Blue Jackets so much?
I really think they're a team that's close to going on a roll. They're completely healthy. They have toughness, they have size, then they have skill, power play specialists in Panarin and Atkinson. They're a tough team, and it will take either the Capitals or the Penguins to knock them out of the first round of the playoffs.
Okay, and you like them defensively as well.
Well, Seth Jones is probably getting into a nice rhythm after being hurt to start the year, and he's a perennial Norris Trophy candidate. Yeah, they have a good young defense. They're a good team.
All right. Okay, that's it for NHL. Let's move on to an NBA. Jimmy the Bag, what do you have to say about the 2 NBA games? I will be listening to you. Let me check some of my notes here on NBA. Why don't you take over and talk about NBA for a second while I look at some things here?
Sure. With Rockets at Heat is a very exciting game here. And initially, I was thinking, wow, the under has got to be in play. And then saw that the market was betting it up, and that gave me pause. Rockets on the second half of a back-to-back after winning their 5th straight home game last night in Houston, 136-118. They set an NBA record for threes with 26. Harden went for 35 and 9, and now Harden will have Josh Richardson on him, so it should be more difficult for him. 6'6" Richardson. Ennis right hamstring is going to miss his 5th straight game. Rockets are just 7 and 9 on the road. Talk about situational basketball. The Heat are just such a well-rested group, coming off their 2nd straight road win, 102-96 over the Pelicans on Sunday night. Now we know that Dragic is going to be out of the lineup. I think that'll be easier for the Heat because they've always been wondering, will he be in the lineup? Won't he be in the lineup? Now they know he'll be out for 8 weeks. He's got right knee surgery. He had right knee surgery done. Tyler Johnson dealing with headaches, which is tricky. So you never are going to know how sound he's going to be. Justice Winslow is questionable with a sprained ankle, but this is as fresh as the Heat can possibly be against what should be a very tired Rockets team. Yet I'm still hesitant to back the Heat, and I'm a little hesitant to take the under, but I see Gekhard A on the under 210. If the line had gone from 208 to 207, I'd be on the under, but seeing it go from 208 to 210 just gives me pause. Yeah,
the total has gotten bet up in both of these games, and then Dallas and the Clippers is a very tough one. Dallas is just a team that you don't want to be betting against right now. Jimmy wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Let me where are my notes here. My notes here. Hold on one second. That
Yeah.
was yesterday's thing. Right. It's that the Clippers. Both these teams have been bad ATS recently. Right. Both of them on ATS losing. That's right. Dallas was the team. You had Denver in the last game, and you cashed on that one. I actually tweeted out Dallas on the second half and had to take a loss on that one, although it was very, very close. They played some tough opponents, though, right? They had a road game at Denver. The previous game was against Sacramento. We know what the deal is with Sacramento. And then, of course, they had that game against Atlanta where I was thinking, I remember I said didn't have the balls to give it, but said Atlanta was a good bet at plus 9.5. It was just a close cover by Atlanta. They won by 7. So maybe Dallas isn't. What's your take on Dallas right now? They've lost 4 in a row ATS, but maybe they get a little bit of an excuse for each of those games. A close ATS loss against Dallas, then a back-to-back, then a game against tough Sacramento, and then a road game at Denver. Maybe we give them a mulligan for each 4 of those ATS losses.
Well, I think we got a little too excited when they went on that win streak and they looked so good at home. I think you see a team's true colors with how they perform on the road. And Mavericks are just 2-11 on the road. They've been dealing with injuries, and not major injuries, but injuries that keep players questionable. Day-to-day injuries with Kleber, day-to-day injuries with Dennis Smith Jr. Barea is in and out of the lineup. So I think that we can give them excuses. The question here, when you're capping this game, is about DeAndre Jordan's character. He's going to get his opportunity to face this Clippers team at the Staples Center for the first time. So what do we expect from him? When he played them the first time, he stepped up in a big way. 23 rebounds. The Mavs won 114, 110. If this was a situation where Lou Williams, because he's close to returning, if he was healthy and in action, I wouldn't think twice, and I would jump all over the Clippers. But without that ability, that instant offense off the bench that's been so critical to the success of this team, as soon as he's out of the lineup, this is a below 500 basketball team.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'd love to hear what other people are thinking, what moves other people want to make, because I guess without Lou Williams and with DeAndre Jordan wanting to send a message, I guess I would lean towards the Mavericks. But then this Clippers team, I like what I saw in that 131-127 loss to the Blazers. I know their defense was poor, but I like that they were able to score. And this is a team that has a high percentage from 3, 37.3, also 9th overall in the league, a field goal percentage at 46.8. They don't take a lot of 3-pointers, but when they do, they hit them. This is tough. The cash action bets is on the Clippers.
Yeah, this is another game where if Dallas is down, at the half and maybe getting a point or two, I might be looking to take Dallas on the second half. The Miami-Houston game, very, very confounding. And I think as far as pregame lines are concerned, I'm going to pass on both of them again. The total has gotten bet up in both of these games, and we have some interesting comments. Kobe Valentine told us about the Florida. Not to switch gears abruptly here, but Kobe Valentine talked to us about how the Florida International, the FIU quarterback, had an injury. He grabbed it at 4.5, advised us all to do that, and it has now jumped up to -7. I remember when he posted that in the comment section. Thank you so much, Kobe Valentine, for doing that. Let's see what the comments are here on the NBA games. These are both games that I think I'm going to pass on, maybe look at for a second half play, but other than that, just pass. What do we have?
Ralph Portwando liking the Clippers -3. Tyrone Clark says LA moneyline and over. Ricky Levine says take the Clippers. Greg Hart, Clipper first half team total over. It's I'm a little hesitant. Thomas Corrigan says I see the Clips getting their form back. He also says that he doesn't think the issue has been the way I saw it with Lou Williams. So where is that comment? I can't seem to find it. He doesn't think that that's the issue. I can't find that. Oh, yeah. He says, to me, if the Clippers defend, they win. That was how Denver won. Clippers have been scoring above 50%. Lou Williams has not been the problem. See, I really, and Thomas Corrigan is an incredible NBA capper, and he has his own podcast in Portugal, NBA podcast. But I really disagree. It doesn't matter that the Clippers have still been able to put up points. Having somebody that can completely change the momentum in a game, and that's what Lou Williams does. That's what he can do. I know that the Clippers can continue to score, but he can single-handedly change momentum in the game. Ricky Levine says revenge game for the Clippers. This is a tough. Sacktown King says passing NBA tonight. Nosley says Heat has value. I agree. Player says I'll take the Heat here.
Kobe Valentine telling me to take Sorry, Kobe Valentine telling me to take Dallas on the first quarter money line, saying that over the past 10 games or so, Dallas has been doing very well on their first quarter results, and the Clippers have not. Yeah, this is a game where I would be thinking about taking a second half play if Dallas is down, or maybe the Clippers on the second half if Dallas is up, and maybe let me see. Hold on. What do we have here? Jimmy the Bag. Paolo Marquez says, Jim and Pete, once again, no words to you guys, kings, masters, gods in earth. God bless you two. Cheers. See you on December 26th. There you go. Paolo Marquez. Now there's a guy who knows how to recognize talent when he sees it. Paolo Marquez, thank you very much. Man, I'm procrastinating here a little bit because I'm an inch away from tailing Kobe Valentine's recommendation here of taking Dallas on the first quarter. Any plays you want to make on either of these games?
Yeah, Reggie Reg has both Reggie Reg and Jay Money live in Dallas and really, really know this team. And Reggie Reg knows his team inside and out. Says we just match up bad when we play guys like Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
King Rail says stay off the Dallas Clippers game. The game is in play or nothing. So
that's what I was thinking about.
What you were saying, Pete.
Yeah, and Sacktown King, guy who knows NBA, gives us a lot of great recommendations. His opinion on these games, passing NBA tonight. And Brian Mole says pass on both NBA games tonight. Too many questions all around. All right, that's it. Let's move on to college basketball, where we might be able to find some better leans. There were definitely a few plays that I was thinking about. I'm definitely liking Duke here. I definitely think that, Texas Tech, obviously a quality team. They're undefeated, haven't played anyone. And Duke, of course, lost to Gonzaga, so they are not undefeated. But I'm agreeing with the people who are thinking that Duke likely rolls here. They opened at 8. It's now up to 9.5 or 10. I was also thinking that Yale might be a good play, minus the points against Monmouth, but that one has gotten bet down, and that's a pretty ominous line move there from 9.5 down to from 10.5 down to 9.5. Those are the plays I was thinking about, and I was also thinking about. Let me see. Houston is playing Utah State. Let me find my notes here. Houston playing Utah State. Let me see. I think I was looking at the over in that one. Let me just pull up. Gosh, there's so many. This is the high season in sports betting, folks. So many sheets, so many notes. Let me just pull up my notes for college basketball here. Jimmy the Bag, you had another winning day in college basketball yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, nice one. 6-2 on the show. I pushed a bet with the line move on the show and lost that bet with my bet. It was a half-point move. A lot of games were very tight. The dogs were beautiful in play. Again, we backed Samford. Max said in the chat, he said, I'm going to keep sticking with Samford. They want to keep it close.
Yeah.
It was a great spot to back Samford. Southern Miss was a great spot as a big dog in a low-scoring game. It was nice. I got back into the plus units, and it was a nice day because I was coming off my first real bad day in NCAA basketball in a while. SBR Forum, my man Drew says Duke wins by 20 easily.
Yeah.
Duke wins by 20 easily. Kobe Valentine says Duke -8 got this morning. Houston -4.5. Purdue -16. Purdue should want a get-right game after playing such tough competition, and should want to blow them out. Bama Nation agrees with you, says Yale and Duke. Geghard A says Duke first half -5.5 is a great play.
Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking about, I was also thinking about maybe a shot with the under in Arkansas Pine Bluff against North Texas. But again, the way we do college basketball here, we sort of feel things out over the course of the day. We have a lot of low baggers who we talk to over the course of the day, and we tend to make our plays later on. I know that's what you do, and you tweet them out, Jimmy the Bag, right?
Yeah, it really helps. It really helps. I just find the market movement so helpful in college basketball, more so than any other sport. And what I do right now is when I see somebody that I trust on a play, if the market moves against them, I just don't bother capping the game. I just move on to the next game. I will only cap the game if the market move is with them. And it's been working very well for the last month.
All right, well, I'm going to make a play right now. Arkansas Pine Bluff, North Texas. I'm going to take the under 134. The under 134. That's a market line right now. It's cutting it a little bit close, but I'm going to take that one under 134 -110, and I'd also be leaning to the first half under on that one as well. And then the Duke game, it opened at 8. Congratulations to Kobe Valentine for beating the line move. I still think there's probably a little bit of value. 9.5 at Pinnacle, 10 everywhere else, and I will take that one. I'll take Duke -9.5 -109. I'll make that one an official play. Duke -9.5 -109. I'd also be leaning on the first half on that one, which is probably, 5.5. Let's see what that line would be. Up Pinnacle is 5.5, but Pinnacle still has a 5. And I'm gonna take Duke on the first half as well. Duke first half -5, -109. So I'm gonna take Duke first half and Duke full game. And take Arkansas Pine Bluff North Texas under 134. Other plays I would say.
Couple things here, Pete. Couple things here, Pete. King Rail liking Seattle. Rico Money saying Purdue will be coming off a tough road trip and Ohio hasn't been tested on the road. Emza liking Albany and Seattle. And Jansen Bonds and our man Jansen says, Pete, you liking JMU? Are you liking James Madison?
Oh, that game. That was a tough one. The James Madison Fordham game. Let me see what the line movement has been there. Yeah, when I looked at it, they were a 3.5 point dog. Yeah, and it's moved in. I was actually that's a tough one. I was actually thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that I want to ask Maxwell Smart and other people about that one. That's what I was thinking on that game. It's a very interesting game. I was leaning Fordham to start, but then I started to think, maybe Fordham won't have that big of a home court edge here, and JMU is actually a good play. The line has definitely moved in Fordham's favor. This is the kind of game that I'd want to get other opinions from, and I'm going to wait and think about it. It was an interesting game on the overnight line, and I just decided to pass on it. The only play I really wanted to take was Duke and the under in the Arkansas Pine Bluff North Texas game when it came out. Any other comments coming in? I'm sure a lot of them.
Yeah, Kobe Valentine liking Fordham there. So there's a note from Kobe. And he also is on the over 129. King Rail says, I'm on Holy Cross full game, leaning first half under. So he's not the only one on Holy Cross. Super Cisco 1313 is on Holy Cross. Our man Golf Hotel says, cheers, guys, on Holy Cross. So a few people here, more than a few people here, backing Holy Cross in this spot. Ace Spitz liking Holy Cross. Matt Randall liking the NIU NKU over.
Yes.
So
I was thinking about that one as well. That's actually one I was thinking about as well, the Northern Kentucky over. It's just that there's a lot of volatility involved with both of these teams, and I just wanted to look into a little bit further. But yes, and that line also, it was a little bit high. It was 149.5, and now it's down to 147, which is interesting. But my initial thought was definitely over on that one. All right, Jimmy the Bag, any other comments? Matt Randall likes...
couple interesting things. Our man R.S. Jacobs saying, I know my Virginia teams.
Mm-hmm.
JMU is the play.
Yeah, see, Kobe Valentine was liking Fordham. That was my initial thought as well. The market has moved in Fordham's favor, but then when I was looking into it a little bit more, I was thinking, you know what, catching 4 points might be the other way around here is the right way to go. And someone who is from Virginia giving that opinion, I'm thinking that JMU might be the play here. I'm thinking about this. Jimmy the Bag, is it possible for you to take over for a minute or so while we look for comments, and then we will, I think we'll probably have your uncle on before the college football segment. How about that?
That sounds good. So I should give him like a 10-minute warning here?
Yeah, definitely give him a 10-minute warning. I was hoping to have him on. So we need to give him a 10-minute warning, huh?
No, I could give him a 5-minute warning.
Yeah. How about a 2-minute warning? Yeah?
A 2-minute warning. Okay.
How about 30 seconds? Okay, have a little respect. The guy won the Heisman Trophy.
He did. It's our first Heisman Trophy winner on this show. Our only Heisman Trophy winner on this show. Kobe Valentine says JMU has had too much time to offer their D, so will be rusty. Let me I'm going to have to send a quick email then, Pete. So would you actually take over the show for 30 seconds?
I'm taking over the show right now. What I'm going to do right now while Jim sets things up with Heisman Trophy winner, 1967 coming on, I'm going to, R.S. Jacobs, one of my favorite, kind of commenters on the Low Shack and the Bag shows, people who are, local to a certain team, a certain program, and can give us, follow these programs and conferences for years. R.S. Jacobs, if you remember, my brother works at George Mason. I gave you George Mason against JMU, and R.S. Jacobs now saying take James Madison here. Coley Valentine saying James Madison has so much time off, their D will be so rusty. I hear you, but Fordham is just not that reliable of a team. Robbie Tagaloa, Eileen JMU as well. R.S. Jacobs, my sister goes to JMU and knows the basketball team. All right, JMU might be the play here. Jansen Bonzone was leaning JMU. I was leaning JMU after initially leaning Fordham, and I might throw on JMU here. Let me see. Other comments come in. Colby Valentine, Northern Illinois money line plus 205. I was thinking that Northern Illinois on the spread against Northern Kentucky might have some value there as well. Matt Randall like Seattle big today. I know that Maxwell Smart and others have been generally high on Seattle over the past month or so. Once again, it might be a good spot to take Seattle. So plays I'm going to be thinking about through the course of the day, Northern Illinois plus the points, Seattle minus the points, Not sure what to think about the JMU game. King Rail likes Holy Cross, but that's a game that goes off in 1 hour, so that will be done in an hour. Steve Priest says 70% are on Duke. I understand that. But I just feel like sometimes these big public sides do win, and especially in the higher profile games. A lot of times in the NFL over the past 3 or 4 years, the big public sides have actually been cashing, and same thing in college basketball with the marquee games involving teams like Duke. All right, let me see other comments here. Coming on. You can't win. Jimmy the Bag, you can't win. People complain all the time about how much time we spend on NHL. Some people, a small percentage of people complain how much time we spend on NHL. Here you go. Mark Schillen says, can we go over NHL again quick? I missed the show. Mark Schillen, I'd love to go over it with you, just for you right now. But if we did that, so many people would be so furious that we're not going to be able to do it right now. But I hear you. You just can't win. If you spend all your time on NHL, some people love you, some people hate you. All right, let's see. Other comments coming in. Let me see. Comments coming in. Matt Randall says Utah State is better than Houston in almost every area, plus it's Christmas break, no college kids there, atmosphere will be down, hammer Utah State. I was thinking that way as well. Matt Randall liking Utah State against Houston. I was also thinking about the over in that game. Not sure there's going to be a lot of clampdown defense, but I was thinking about Utah State plus the points, Utah State team total over, and also Matt Randall telling us that he likes Seattle, and Seattle has been a play that people that we respect in this show have been on for the past few weeks at least. All right, let me see. Other comments coming in, and then we will get to, let's see, where is he? Let's see. I'm looking here. Up there you go, Mac Randall. Seattle will win by 20 tonight. Bank it. Okay. Let me see. Now people are laughing about my sister knows the basketball team. Hey, it happens, it does happen. Some people, make that up, but there are definitely people who do have sisters who do know basketball teams. All right, let's see. Here we go. And that's it for college basketball. We ready? Okay, welcome everyone to the LoShack and the Bag Show. 1967 Heisman Trophy winner, Gary Beban. Thanks for being on the show, Gary.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning.
That's how you pronounce it, right, Beban?
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure. All right, it was a different world back then, 2018 to 1967. A lot of changes in the world and in humanity. Would you disagree with that?
No, there's been a lot of changes, but the score of games don't change. So
that's right.
We were fortunate.
And how do you feel college football has changed since 1967 when it comes to a handicapping perspective? Because obviously you've had an interest in handicapping college football spreads going all the way back to when you played it, right?
I wasn't quite interested then, not when I was playing. No, the game has changed a bit. The S's are still the same, though. The speed, strength, and size of players have increased. It's always interesting to go to a reunion to see how much bigger all the players are, let alone quarterbacks from the days of the mid-'60s to today.
All right.
But it's still a great game to watch, and obviously one that's enjoyable to play.
Well, welcome to the show. If any commenters have any questions for Gary Beban, post them, and I will try to read them and identify them and ask him if I get to see them. But before we get to any questions that the comment section has, you have some opinions on the two college football playoff games, right? The first game I want to ask you about, Alabama. Now, we see this time and time again with Alabama, year in and year out. They don't cover their spreads when they're like a 50-point favorite against Citadel, but they have just an uncanny knack for covering spreads that just seem way, way too high. Like they'll be like an 18-point road favorite again on the road against another ranked SEC team, and you'll be looking at that and thinking, really? And then, in the end, they'll cover relatively easily. They're a 14-point favorite here. Is that too high, or is that appropriate, and maybe Alabama still has value?
Well, the odd makers seem to have a real difference of opinion between 1, 2, 3, 4 to see that kind of spread. Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Notre Dame. It's almost as though these teams are in different leagues.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4. So in a bowl game of this sort, 14 points. I played Michigan State in 66. We were 13.5 points underdog to the first team of the century. And no one thought we should show up with that kind of spread. So it seems to be an awfully big one. But boy, Alabama is so deep, and they have so many resources. It's a hard one to call on the spread. I think Alabama will be the winner, but boy, that's a lot of points on an Oklahoma team.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the big factor here, of course, is the discrepancy in the defensive numbers. Obviously, everyone talks about how vulnerable Oklahoma's defense is. Now, you know these players are aware of that, right? And in fact, it goes both ways because Alabama's going up against the Heisman Trophy winner. So and they're going to be, and everyone's predicting a shootout. So, they've probably got a chip on their shoulder, right? They're thinking, wait a minute, we're the Alabama defense. It's not going to be a shootout because we're going to hold down this Heisman Trophy winner. And then on the other side, Oklahoma knows that everyone's talking about how their big weakness here coming in is their vulnerability on defense, and they're just going to get torched. So maybe both defenses come into this game psychologically with a chip on their shoulder.
Well, if I was Oklahoma, I'd be chippy. It's a 14-point spread, but the offense actually has to play defense to a degree by holding the ball a lot and keeping Alabama's offense off the field. That's going to have to be a critical play and a strategy that Oklahoma has. I know they have a fast striking offense, but in this case against Alabama, you may want to take your time and have some 10, 12, 14 play drives for scores rather than knocking off big scores along the way. The more you have Alabama's offense on the field, the more trouble you're going to get into.
Yeah, and the market is very, very uncertain where exactly to put this total. The spread, 14 across the board. No one has 14.5. No one has 13.5. They're set there. The Notre Dame-Clemson game, 55 across the board on the total. But the total here ranges all the way from 79 up to 80.5. 79s, 79.5s, there's 80s. The Greek is up to 80.5. So there's a 1.5 point range on the spread market wide right now. And that's been that way for a day or so. The market is uncertain where to put this total. Sounds like maybe the under might be a sneaky good play again, because you're suggesting that maybe the game plan for Oklahoma is going to be to try to limit possessions, and maybe both defenses will come in here with a chip on their shoulder. Gary Beban, if we gave you a free play on either side or either the over or the under, which would you put it on as of right now?
Ooh, under.
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 Okay. Under. Okay, and the under would be at 80.5 at the Greek. Pinnacle all the way down to 79. Look at that. The Greek, two sharp books. 80.5, strong disagreement here. 80.5 and 79. So you would be leaning under, and your thought is that I guess that Oklahoma's defense with the time off will be able to get it together to at least perform better than they have statistically season long.
I think Oklahoma's defense will do some scoring. If they don't, then the game's over.
All right.
They've got to do some scoring.
Okay. Let's talk about, let's see if there's any questions from the comment section, and then we'll move on to your thoughts on Notre Dame-Clemson. This is friggin' awesome. Right. Flipper13 says, question, Beban, when did you first realize your nephew Jimmy was not going to be a football player? All right. Next question. Let's move on. Funny comment there from Flipper13. Let me see. Flipper13 says, question, Beban, what is your best bet this bowl season? You don't have to answer it, but if you do have a best bet this bowl season as of right now, and you'd like to share it with us, we'd certainly love to hear it.
Okay. No, I don't have one really.
No? Okay. All right.
Not yet.
SBR Forum says, question for the Heisman winner. What was your best game performance ever in your Heisman winning season?
Unfortunately, it came in a loss against USC and OJ in '67. We lost 20-21 for the national championship, and it's actually the first time I ever threw the ball 30 times or for 300 yards. But it was a great game to play in, and not many people get to play in a game in which you're playing for everything. You're playing for the national championship and the Rose Bowl, the city championship in Los Angeles, and OJ was on the other side, and we, in essence, played for the Heisman Trophy that day.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. Here's a question from Ron Walsek. He says, ask Gary where his best edges come from. I'm thinking that probably, as a player, as such a high-profile player and doing it for as long as you been watching the game as long as you did it, you probably can find good edges using psychological factors that other people might not be as intimately familiar with, like when a team is likely to be hyper-motivated or in a letdown spot. Where are the edges? Ron Walsek says, ask Gary where his best edges come from.
Inside the locker room. I think when you look at a team like Oklahoma, the kind of season they've had, kind of players they are, to be told that you're 14 points less a team than who you're playing that day,
right,
and the difference between 1 and 4 isn't that far. They just have to make sure they don't play any big mistakes. If they don't play big mistakes, it should be a closer game than that. But again, their defense has to score.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. What kinds of situations, just off the top of your head, result in a team or key players having, lack of motivation or letdown spots in their next game?
When they read the newspaper and hear they're 14-point favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not, I think Saban will counteract that, but that's an issue when you're being told almost in every direction that you're that good and
right.
that you're 14 points better than the number 4 team in the country. That's going to be in the locker room. Somebody will have read the papers. And, that's something that you have to coach against. And he's done an awfully good job of that over the years.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks so much, Gary Beban. Now let's move on to Notre Dame-Clemson. This is an interesting game with some stark line movement. It opened at Clemson minus 10.5, got bet all the way up to 13.5. Unbelievable. A quick 3-point line move in a game like this. Very, very surprising. I actually previewed this game with some professional handicappers yesterday. I gave the opinion that I thought Notre Dame might be the play here. And I also suggested that by kickoff, the line might come back down towards where it opened, and we've already seen some line movement back in Notre Dame's direction. Yesterday it was 13.5 across the board. Now it's back down to 12.5 at a lot of places, and I'm just looking at this. I don't know, how much you looked into the matchups here, but Clemson is very reliant on big plays offensively. Notre Dame is that's one of their strengths, is preventing big plays. And I guess the big question here, though, the reason Clemson's such a big favorite and the reason people bet them initially is just that they think this is a big step up in class from Notre Dame, and you can kind of throw their stats from the entire season a little bit out the window. Not completely out the window, but just a little bit, because they're going to be stepping up so much in class. Clemson is such a big favorite here, double-digit favorite. Is that justified?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Notre Dame is just a steady, deliberate, not a rush team. They're just going to plod their way along, a little bigger than Clemson, and if they can control the football again. And there are a lot of teams, 66, we had a plan. We were going to take 29 out of 30 seconds every play to make sure the other guys didn't get the ball. Notre Dame's got to have the same theory, and they're big enough to do it. They're big enough to pick up the first downs on, 3.5 yard and keep long drives alive so that the Clemson team is not on the field. I'm a big believer in that theory, by the way, obviously, that the offense can play defense by holding the ball a lot longer than the other team. So I'm not sure that I would have that kind of spread between the number 2 and the number 3 teams. I think it'll keep coming down as game time comes up, but it's a big spread.
Yeah, it really is. But you do see a lot of times when teams have looked good against, quality competition, but not elite competition, when they do step up, they get plastered. And then we really see where the difference in talent level actually lies. And in fact, in college basketball, we have a classic example of that today. Texas Tech, ranked team, number 12 against Duke. Texas Tech is undefeated, but they haven't played anyone near Duke's talent level. And a lot of people are suggesting that they're going to get steamrolled here. And we might be seeing a similar situation here in Notre Dame against Clemson. The total is 55. The spread is 12.5 or 13. Bookmaker is still at 13. Gary Beban, if we gave you a free play on either side of the spread here, or the over or the under, which would you put it on?
I think Notre Dame's going to play a better game than 12.5 points.
Notre Dame, yeah, and we can get 13 right now at Bookmaker. Bookmaker still has 13. That's awesome. So Gary Beban's recommended plays as of right now for the college football playoffs: Notre Dame plus 13 and the under in Oklahoma, Alabama, which can currently be had at 80.5 at the Greek. And then Jim also told me that you had an NFL play that you liked this week. Would you care to share that with us?
We had some ideas of the Seahawks and the Chiefs, but I think we're a little mixed up here on that one. I think the Chiefs are going to take this one going away. Even though it's in Seattle, even though Seattle's very tough to beat at home, I think the Chiefs see their way to having everything go through Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl, and that's a real powerful locker room driver.
Yeah, it sure is. The minus 2.5 is the line right now on the road. Russell Wilson always strikes me as the kind of guy that I kind of want to bet against in the beginning of the year, but then he starts to get better and better as the year goes on. I just hate fading Russell Wilson at the end of seasons.
It's been a tougher year in Seattle than I think even the press has covered. I think there's still a team trying to find their identity. I think there's still a lot of things going on in the locker room. The Chiefs have a lot to play for here, much more so than I think, at least you've read in the press and whatever. To have to go through Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl, to be able to play all your games at home, that'll be a big driver.
Yeah. Okay, let me see. Oh, now people, we have. I'd love to keep you here for another hour. People are upset that I haven't been reading questions. Let me just scan if there are any questions that people would like to ask you. Let me see. Other questions that are coming in. I'm just going to try to find a question. Glenn Elliott Mann apparently has a question that he'd like to be addressed, but it's a little bit hard to scan around. And okay, here you go. Glenn Elliott Mann's question. Gary, are you disappointed that Gretzky got your great one? You, of course, were the original great one, and then Gretzky took it.
I'm not at all. There's only one great one, and it is Gretzky.
All right. There's your answer, Glenn Elliott Mann. I'd love to talk to you for an hour. Anytime you want to come back on the show, of course, you're more than welcome to. Just let us know, and we will definitely move anything we have to fit you in. As of right now, we're going to have to let you go. Gary Beban, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Very pleasant, Peter. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. So I guess Jimmy the Bag will come back and we'll talk very quickly about the college football game. Everyone is very appreciative here. Oh, Tolkien says Seattle is my lock of the week. Okay. There you go. All right. Some other questions are coming in. We just had to wrap it up because we do need to wrap up this show and talk a little bit about the college football game. And as far as the Notre Dame game, though, a lot of people agreeing that Notre Dame is a steal. Corey Mack says, I agree, Notre Dame plus 12 is a steal. Not seeing any opinions coming in as of right now on Clemson. Let me see if anyone likes, let's see. If anyone's liking Clemson here, a lot of people like Kobe Valentine likes Notre Dame. Corey Mack likes Notre Dame. No opinions coming in on Clemson. We'll wait for Jimmy the Bag to come in. Everyone's saying that was very cool. Vegas Gun says that was very cool. It sure was. I was a little nervous. I was more nervous than I thought I would be. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to being surrounded by yahoos and jackoffs and jerkoffs and stuff like that. Not every day I'm in a conversation with a friggin' Heisman Trophy winner. I think I did an okay job, though. All right, let's see. Other comments coming in, and then we will talk with Jimmy the Bag. Is Jimmy supposed to? Oh, yeah, there you go. Jimmy the Bag, you there?
Yeah, I'm back in action.
How did I do? Did I do okay?
Yeah, you were great. You were great. I
yeah?
mean, I was only actually watching his side of the interview, so I have no idea how you did. But man, I loved having him on the show. Wasn't that great?
Yeah, you were out there. You were like, I don't really know. I was eating some cereal and drinking some orange juice. So I'm sure you were great, though, Loshak. All right, Jimmy the Bag. It's interesting.
Let me say this.
What'd you say?
Say this. I think he's bang on.
Yeah.
I think that the under is in play, and I think we should jump on that before that line drops. Is it still 79.5, the total there?
79.5. Jimmy the Bag, we credited him with 80.5 at the Greek. And I pointed out how the market is so uncertain here. I mean, you look at the Notre Dame-Clemson game, 55 across the board. Bam. Not even juiced in any direction. Even Pinnacle, it's 55 across the board. The Oklahoma-Alabama game, 79, 79.5, 80, 80.5 are all widely available right now. And yeah, it's understandable why. I mean, there's like the Missouri, if there was a bowl game where you would think that there would be a total in the 80s, it would be maybe the Missouri game, right? There's other bowl games that you would think would have a high total here. But no, it's the Alabama-Oklahoma game, which is, I can understand why. The offenses are so explosive, but it's just a very, very high total, the highest total on the board right now. Oklahoma State, Missouri, only 74.
I think he broke that down so well with the idea that Oklahoma is going to need to have long drives. That quick strike offense will be needed at certain points in the game. But certainly when the game goes off, they need to have extended drives. They need 6-minute, 7-minute drives. I love what he's on in that spot. I think that's great. Now, backing the two dogs is something I'm interested in. But certainly at this point, my favorite play is the under in the big Bama game. I really like that. In fact, I think that I'm going to jump on it.
Yeah, I'll do it too. I'll tail both of Gary Beban's recommended plays here. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I'm going to add these on to my official plays in the Low Shack in the Bag show. Notre Dame plus 13 minus 110. I could have gotten 13.5 yesterday, but I'll take it 13 minus 110. And I'm also going to take the under. I'm going to tail Gary Beban's recommendation under 80.5 minus 110 at the Greek. Those are two official plays for me. Jim, you want to go on either of those or both of those?
What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under, and I'll bet that at some point today. I really, really like the way he broke it down. I love, it's one thing the way we break down games, but when you've been in the locker room, when you've been there, when the talk about being 13.5-point dogs, I find that very interesting, and it was very exciting to have him on the show. And thank you to all the Lobaggers for the support there and all the kind words that you said, because I'd love to have him on more.
Yes, for sure. All right, so no official plays added to your record yet, Jim? Or just
no,
under?
Please add the under. Add the under. I like that play. I'm going to make that bet today. I'm very interested in Notre Dame, but I do want a little bit more time on the side there.
All right, well, we'll give you 80.5 minus 110. I don't know if that's a good EV play or not, but it's hard to imagine that line getting bet higher. At the very least, you'll be the closer on that one. Is there any way this line gets bet up into the 80s? Can't imagine that, right?
I just can't imagine that, no.
All right, so now let's talk just a little bit about the game that goes tonight, which is, hold on, let me just find it, which is Marshall and South Florida. Everyone's talking about the weather. Inclement weather is expected, and the total has accordingly dropped. Opened at 54.5. It's now down to 51 or 51.5. I'm going to pass on this one. I didn't look into it too in-depth. I've looked into a bunch of other bowl games more in-depth. This one's going to be a pass for me. I did tail Kobe Valentine's recommended play on Toledo. They are, the FIU quarterback has an injury, and he grabbed it at 4.5. I took it at 7, but I still think that, if Toledo can run away with it, those points might not matter. So I tailed Kobe Valentine's play on Toledo. Other bowl games that I'm thinking about, I was thinking about taking Buffalo over Troy, but I'm going to look into that a little bit more. Thinking about taking Boston College over Boise State. That was another play I was thinking about. And thinking about taking the Iowa team total under. The Iowa team total under against Mississippi State, which should be under 17. That's another play I was thinking about. And that's about it. Jimmy the Bag, you have any thoughts on upcoming bowls from any day?
I do. I shot the video, Houston Army video, and unbelievably, Army was just 3-point favorites. And Drew said, well, I've got to take Army minus 3. And I was like, what the hell's going on? They don't have King. Derek King's hurt. Their star defensive end is not going to be lined up. But this market scares me so much. I'm not going to make the bet. And that was a mistake, because now the market's right back to where we thought it would be. I should have jumped on them at minus 3, and that was a mistake. And I'm a little uncomfortable taking it here at 4.5 or 5. I do want to back Buffalo in that spot against Troy. I'm close to doing it. I don't really like the market moving in Troy's way, but I understand why, right? Troy's playing a few hours. I mean, I don't have my notes in front of me. I'd like to do more bowl coverage with my notes in front of me, and I guess we'll do it tomorrow, because that's our last show before this big game on the 22nd. So I'd like to have that here. And then I'm taking Skip Holtz. I'm taking La Tech here. Give Skip Holtz a month to prepare for it. I know that we sort of take these guys' bowl records with a grain of salt with some of them, but not with guys who want to showcase so desperately and want to show everybody what kind of genius they are. So I am going to back Skip and La Tech. I think Hawaii is sort of a Jekyll and Hyde team, and we saw maybe that the Aztecs were a team floundering after that bowl performance last time. So when Hawaii went into San Diego and got that big win, so I have not made those bets yet. So I've got to figure it out. So could you please put that on our show tomorrow, the bowl games?
Definitely. And in the meantime, after I said I wasn't seeing any comments coming in supporting Clemson, I'm now seeing about 12 of them. A cascade of comments supporting Clemson. Wally George says Clemson rolls, Pete. Craig Schrader says Clemson and Alabama roll. Eli Bulldog says, I love Clemson by 20. Bama Nation says Clemson is going to boat race Notre Dame. Comments just cascading in. Eli Bulldog, Clemson has NFL players on defense. All right. Craig Schrader, Clemson 38-17. Eli Bulldog, Clemson easy money. Ronald Crawford says Notre Dame, but now officially in the comments section, there are more comments favoring Clemson than Notre Dame for sure. All right. Excuse me.
We do need to talk NFL tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to get in on some early lines in the next 2 hours. So I'm going to be making some moves on that. Jansen says, do any of you guys think that the Bears will not cover this weekend? I see this as a really tough spot for the Bears, extremely tough spot for the Bears. In rainy, sleepy San Francisco, we saw what that just did to the Seahawks. I think this is a very tough spot. I feel like we did a lot of good work on the Audible this Tuesday, and I've just been a little overwhelmed with, as we all have been with family stuff and things around the holidays, for me not to get my action in. So I'm gonna get in on some early lines in the next probably hour and a half here. So Pete, we need NCAA football and NFL on the card tomorrow.
Okay, we can do that for you, Jimmy the Bag. And let's wrap up this show right now with a comment from Naeem25, who says the weather will be clear by kickoff for USF. So be a little bit careful pounding the under, especially at the current line of 51 or 51.5, just because of the weather factor. Naeem25 says weather will be clear by kickoff for USF. Check the weather report to see if that's actually the case. But just be a little bit careful about saying, oh, it's going to be bad weather. I'm going to throw half my bankroll on the under. That is a factor that definitely matters, but can be overvalued and overestimated in spots. That's it for the Low Shack and the Bag Show. It was a great show today. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks so much. See you then, Jimmy the Bag.